Hi, this is Swapnil Bhartiya and we are here at openSUSE conference in Prague, Czech Republic. And today we have with us Klaus. You made some big announcement today, but we will get into that later on. First, tell us who you are and what do you do at SUSE?
My name is Klaus Kämpf. I'm the product owner for SUSE Manager. SUSE Manager is our Linux lifecycle management tool. I'm with SUSE now for 19 years. I started to create Just 2, and now I'm doing project management, or since we are running the project Agile, my official role is product owner.
And you said you have been SUSE for 19 years, and SUSE itself is, I think, roughly 26 years old, right? Last year, yes, they celebrated their anniversary.
Yeah, we had
That's
25th anniversary, and yeah, I joined in 1999. And it was quite a ride, yeah, but it's still a lot of fun.
So what keeps you at SUSE?
The people.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's the people, because we have so many awesome engineers which have so broad interests, not only in open source, but all kinds of strange hobbies or knowledge about all topics. It's a diversity, especially since we were bought by Nobel in 2004. It's more colleagues in the US, colleagues here in Prague, in Beijing, and now all over the world, and especially my team, so SUSE Manager team, we have people in Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, and it's just great to have this many different cultures.
I totally understand, and that is why also I've been doing Linux for so long, and SUSE and I mean, of course, they are your company, but SUSE and Red Hat, they are only two Linux vendors back then. Now it's like you guys have evolved from being a Linux vendor to doing almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think today cloud is becoming a big, I think, focus area for both SUSE and Red Hat. So now I will just transition from here and just talk about the announcement that you made today. Tell us about that.
So the announcement is about the Uyuni project, which is a branch of Spacewalk. Spacewalk is about 16 years old. It's the base of Red Hat's Satellite 5, which solves the question, okay, if I have many Linux systems, how do I deploy them? How do I keep them up to date? How do I get reports about updates? What do I do if the next heartbleed or whatnot problem arises? How do I roll out updates? Red Hat came with Spacewalk and started in 2002 and made an enterprise project out of it called Satellite 5. At this point, SUSE did not have a comparable product, which started for SUSE in 2009, I believe, which is SUSE Manager. So both the Red Hat Satellite 5 and SUSE Manager are based on Spacewalk. About 6 years ago, Red Hat made the announcement that they will switch from Satellite 5 to Satellite 6, which is a complete new code base. It took a while to get this stable, but the problem is, since it's a complete new code base, people who are used to the old one need to retrain. It's so completely different, the tool, how you use it, the user interface is different, so it's very hard for people to switch. And this was a very good opportunity for SUSE Manager, because for SUSE Manager we said, okay, we will stay on the Spacewalk code base and slowly evolve SUSE Manager. So, for example, we added SALT configuration management. We rewrote large parts of the UI to be based on JavaScript React. Last year we added container and Kubernetes support. And all these features we tried to get upstream to Spacewalk. But the Spacewalk team is so small these days that they are unable to cope up with all our changes. So the question was, okay, what do we do? There should be, since we are an open source company, there should be an open source upstream project for our enterprise product called SUSE Manager. What is it? If Spacewalk is unable to cope with the amount of changes we do, what are we going to do? Last year we approached Red Hat because they asked in the Spacewalk FAQ, hey, we know that Spacewalk is not our main focus anymore, we need someone to take over. So we asked Red Hat and told them, hey, we are this someone. But as it turned out, Red Hat was unable to hand the Spacewalk project to us. So Uyuni is the big announcement today. It's a friendly fork of Spacewalk. It's an opinionated fork because we will contribute all the changes we did for SUSE Manager to this project. We will have an open development model. We will have an open mailing list. We will be based on GitHub, so the usual GitHub development model of people can create issues, people can create pull requests. We intend to make regular releases, but we will not maintain these releases. So if someone is looking for a supported and maintained Linux lifecycle management solution, SUSE Manager is the answer. If someone wants a community, up-to-date, always fresh software, fresh features, Uyuni is the answer.
So was Spacewalk a Red Hat project, or so it was not an independent project? It was a Red Hat project.
It was it still is a Red Hat project.
It's like Fedora.
It's like Fedora, yes.
Okay, and because usually the perception is that once a project is an open source community driven project, anyone can push changes, anyone can, that's what we heard about Fedora also. So why was it not possible for you to push changes to Spacewalk?
Actually, we pushed all the changes we did for SUSE Manager, which in the beginning was ability to run the Spacewalk code on SLES, then ability to manage openSUSE and SLES systems with Spacewalk. And many of our changes were accepted in the beginning. If you look at the Spacewalk release notes for the past couple of years, many people listed as contributors are SUSE employees. But when Red Hat took the decision to switch enterprise customers from Satellite 5 to Satellite 6, they also took the decision to de-invest into the Spacewalk community and invest into the Satellite 6 code base, which is Catello and Foreman and others.
But Satellite 5 is not a community project, it's a Red Hat product.
Satellite 5 is the Red Hat enterprise product based on Spacewalk.
Exactly. So if they're cutting resources from Spacewalk, what will be their upstream project then?
For Satellite 5, it's still Spacewalk, and Spacewalk still exists, but it's in maintenance mode. So there are very few changes.
Okay, I got it.
A lot of, since we contributed all our SUSE Manager changes to Spacewalk, there was a clear cutoff about 2015 to 2016, where due to the fewer Spacewalk engineers at Red Hat, they could not
Okay, I got it now.
accept our pull requests. We have pull requests still open, which are not integrated into Spacewalk.
And what kind of user base is there even for SUSE Manager or Satellite 5? I mean, okay, let's talk about SUSE Manager. Is there a big user base or is it a very niche market?
It is actually a very big user base because every SLAS customer in EMEA at least has SUSE Manager. There's even a user base in Red Hat. So we have pure Red Hat customers who run SUSE Manager to manage their Linux systems. Why? Because these are former Satellite 5 Spacewalk based customers. They are used to this model. The Spacewalk has a very nice API, so you can automate things. But for these customers switching to Satellite 6, with a new user interface, with a new conceptual model, with a new API, it's a huge step.
I understand, yeah.
And what SUSE Manager and now Uyuni provides is a continuation. So we keep the API, we are adding to the API. We keep the user interface. We deliberately don't make big changes. The user interface is not the nicest. But we don't want to overthrow this user interface just to make it look better or make it more user-friendly. But we could do it more user-friendly, but it would turn it left to right. So we do small changes and we try to keep it at a moderate pace so that users can adapt and learn and follow us.
What is the story behind the name Uyuni?
We intended to use the Spacewalk name, but Red Hat was not able to give it to us. So we were looking at an interesting name and also at a name which is not used in a software environment. Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat based in Bolivia. And this is our
I got it.
tip to head to the salt stack community because large portions now of our server client interface is salt based.
Yeah, I would be interested in what is the future of SUSE and salt in the future. We'll see how these two communities work together. Before we go there, this is one of the reasons why you created the fork was that the governance model around the Spacewalk project. There was none whatsoever from what I understand. So how do you ensure that Uyuni, what is going to be its governance model? So let's say tomorrow Red Hat or any other company, they want to contribute, they don't face the same problem.
We intend to make it as open as possible. We don't want to limit it to anything. It is our intention that whatever contributions come in terms of, this is for systems lifecycle management or infrastructure management, we will accept. We would also not have a problem of accepting contributions which don't match the SUSE Manager goal. But that's what we expect. It should be a community project where whoever contributes can define the direction.
And the user base, by user I mean the user are mostly the Linux vendor like Red Hat or SUSE, right? It's not for the larger other projects. It's only specific for to managing the Linux. Is that what it is?
The project is focused on Linux management, but it's not limited to Linux management. So, for example, we have code to manage Windows. Based on WMI, the Windows Management Interface. It could be an inventory management software. So you could, for example, also view your printers, your routers, everything else in your infrastructure.
So since it kind of caters to a market larger than what SUSE is, does it make sense to move it to some independent foundation where everybody can come and contribute and take it out of SUSE, or you want to?
Our intention is that from the beginning everyone can contribute. We don't want to limit contributions or direct contributions in any way. Long-term plans, if we take it to a foundation, I don't know. One of the things we have to note here is that the community for Linux management is pretty small.
That is the reason I asked the earlier question, what is the kind of base is there so every question is connected to the answer.
So
that is why because that doesn't make sense for a wider community to, so you won't even attract a lot of people to actually contribute to the project like that, so it makes more sense. That is why I asked that. So how is it structured? Just like, because SUSE has a lot of other open source projects, like whether it's openSUSE or whatever. So is there any structured governance model, or is it similar to other SUSE projects?
We intend to keep it similar to other SUSE models. So our main guidance here is, for example, the openSUSE Cubic project, and which is quite successful. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel here, but follow.
Yeah, because when Cubic was announced, I talked to the whole team, and I think I was the one who wrote the first story around it. And where will the code, will it be GitHub, or you will
GitHub,
have?
Yes.
And what is the license you're using for it?
It's actually a mixture of licenses, because we have parts are old Python code. There might even be a bits of Perl inside. We have Java, but the over intention is to be GPL, near GPL.
Which GPL? There are so many GPLs.
GPL version 2.
Version 2, okay. And what is going to be the cadence or release cycle for the project itself? Depends on...
The cadence is unknown. The original intention was to make it like Tumbleweed. With continuous updates.
That is why I asked, because,
The problem here is the database, because with every code update, the database needs to follow, where we need to have different tables we need to change, and these database migrations are complex. So if we would do weekly updates with weekly database migration, it's a lot of overhead for us. Maybe we will find a solution. The goal certainly here is release often, release early. If this would be monthly or quarterly or every half a year, we don't know yet.
What is the cadence of SUSE Manager?
SUSE Manager has yearly releases.
So don't we want to sync with that, so that it comes before that, so that you have a new code base ready? Because if you are the only user, what is the point of having 4 releases?
The goal here is to be attractive to the community and also to try out things. So even for SUSE Manager, while we have yearly releases, between the releases, we not only do bug fix and maintenance updates, but we add a lot of features. So while we had container building in SUSE Manager 3.1, we added Kubernetes support for SUSECon in November, which was 4 months after the release. Now we add SLE 15 support to SUSE Manager 3.1. And the goal here is to do the same with to Uyuni, try out new UIs, try out OpenStack connections, maybe Ceph. So if you look at SUSE storage, they use Salt a lot. Why not have a SUSE Manager UI to manage Ceph here based on the Salt? So especially Salt gives us many opportunities to manage things we don't manage right now. But all these needs a user interface, and here we are totally open, and maybe we can find new grounds there, which could become an official SUSE Manager feature maybe in 2 years. We don't know yet.
You mentioned that it has a lot of different kind of codes, Python, Perl, and all of things. And now, since you pretty much own the fork new project, is one of your goals is also to kind of I don't know, clean the code, optimize the code, or make a more streamlined code base, or?
So a lot of work already goes into refactoring old code base. For example, we updated a lot of Java libraries. We introduced React as the user interface. So this is work going on, but there's no intention for kind of a big rewrite because there is little value to be gained. We will certainly apply the Boys Code rule. So leave a place tidier and cleaner than you find it. So we have a couple of code areas where we intend to work on and streamline it and make it cleaner.
Okay.
For example, we have one team just working on scalability, which could be anything from bandwidth limitations to better database queries or different database indices. We will see as we see the bottlenecks.
Okay.
Another option could be, so for example, Uyuni now works on x86-64. It works on PowerPC, Little Endian, and on System Z. Why not port it to ARM? So if someone rolls out a pure ARM environment, why not running Uyuni server on ARM? That could be a very nice project for the future.
Okay, this you may choose to not answer the question, but what was the reason Red Hat, did the whole rewriting of the UI and everything with the Satellite 5? Was it because for to polish the code base, or what, or just for their customers?
I can only speculate here, but if you look at Satellite 6 compared to Satellite 5, it had most prominently a different licensing model and subscription model that, at least from what we hear, was one of the main drivers for Red Hat, because they also changed how they count and charge for Red Hat subscription, and this the old Spacewalk on Satellite 5 code could not cope with. They introduced in the beginning Puppet configuration management, which was also not easy to integrate. Well, 2 years after the Puppet announcement, Red Hat bought Ansible, so they changed it again. All these things are not easy to integrate into an old code base. But for SUSE Manager, we made the jump to Salt. Yes, the integration was not easy, but seeing it now, how it works and how easy it is to add new features, it was well worth it.
So while clear, why you forked the project and created the new project, what are the biggest challenge that you see as you take over the project and work on it?
For the immediate future, the biggest challenge for us will be to clean up our code to make it publishable.
Okay.
It's also, so one of the challenges we will face is that it's Java. Packaging Java is hard. Creating a Java build environment, especially in OBS, is even harder. Java depends largely on your build environment is online and can download from Maven or Gradle repositories. This is impossible in openSUSE for a reason. So what we invented, or what Silvio Moioli, one of our engineers, invented is Tetra. Tetra is able to package a Java build environment. So at the point when it comes to building Java in openSUSE, we provide the build environment plus the Java source code, and then we can create a Java package. The problem for us currently is how can we distribute this build environment? Because it contains a lot of jars where we don't know about the redistribution agreement. So this is something we have to find out.
Okay.
A challenge is certainly also for a project or a code base as large as Uyuni. It's not a simple configure, make, and run. It's a lot of pieces. You need Salt, you need Java, you need Tomcat, you need Postgres. You need to configure it all. Then you need to download distributions. So all the packages. This is why in the workshop tomorrow, the Vagrant images will be 50 gigabytes in size, because of all the packages which are contained in this image. So how to make it smooth and attractive to users, to use it and to tinker with it, and hopefully to contribute back.
Okay, Klaus, good luck with the project, and we'll catch. Oh, one more thing before we wrap it up. How many people are working on the project right now?
So I don't.
It's a just new project, so you don't even have any number yet?
We have an engineering team, but the engineering team is nothing without all the guys around it. So we have supporters, we have the guys from the openSUSE build service, we have partners who work with the code and contribute back in terms of telling stories, how they were successful or unsuccessful. So it's many people, probably in the hundreds, who already, because contribution is not always code.
Exactly.
It's a lot about knowledge, explaining use cases to us, getting the bigger picture, and even our existing customers contribute in terms of either feature requests or bug reports, because they also help us to understand how our customers use the product. And this all contributes back to Uyuni.
So are you saying that Uyuni will have a bigger community than its original project?
I wouldn't measure it in the number of subscribers to the mailing list or number of GitHub forks, because there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of direction coming from all kinds of people.
Awesome. It was nice talking to you today, and hopefully we'll catch up again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.